Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Performance E Streaming. It is ANZCAR, and we are back for the 2024 season. Yes, everybody, we are back here ready for some racing at Daytona International Speedway. We hope you are looking forward to this one. As well as much as we are, really, because it is going to be an exciting night here as we kick off the 2024 season. I'm, as ever, Mr. Carl Wilkinson, welcoming you to the booth, and I am joined by Mr. Mark Johansson. Mark, how you going, mate?
Mate, happy to be back for another great season. A little bit of a different look for ANZCAR this year, but nevertheless, it's going to be a exciting year, I'd say.
Absolutely, a bit of a different way of doing it this season. We are going to be racing trucks, Xfinity, and then Cup to finish off everything. Well, it is time for the race to get started, so let us bring up our grid for this race. And starting on pole position tonight, it's going to be Josh Micklemore with Cade Donnelly on his outside. Row number 2 sees Lachlan Urquio and Matt Patton. On the third row, it's Gary Wellman and Dave Douglas. Row number 3 will see, as I quickly switch over, Chris Finley and Jamie Nan Curvis. Row number 5 will have Ben Vickers and Hamish Gallagher. Row 6, Todd Maxfield and Nicholas Walsh. On the 7th row, Steve Hoppett with Nigel Patton. Ruben Phelps and JCW on row number 8. Row number 9 has Riley Curtis, Ben Henker, Michael Campbell, Aaron Dillon on row number 10. Row 11 is Troy Davidson, Scott LaBouffe. Row 12, Shane Bowen, Alexander Sheridan, Jason Martin and Brad Finley on row number 13. Row number 14, Norman Clark, Jake Maloney. 15 is Paul Jackson, Brendan Starter, Brent Hobbs, Maddie Ray on row 16. Row 17 is Noddy Tompkins, Dwayne Priest, and that is our field for tonight's race.
Some good drivers in there, some new drivers this year, Carl, and some good rookies in there too. So let's see if the rookies can handle the pace of ANZCAR Trucks.
Absolutely, it's going to be interesting to see who gets this one right, who gets it wrong, as we are at the Super Speedway of Daytona. Always a fun track to start off the season with as well. We always love coming here for the races, and well, it's going to be one heck of a race, one heck of a season. We are kicking it off in style tonight, and well, Mark, what are we expecting for fuel loads?
Fuel tonight should see us get around 35 to 40 laps. Just depends on the draft. A lot of cars here. We got 34 vehicles tonight, so look for some good drafting early on to save as much fuel as they can.
As we are about to go, and it's about to start for 2024, and away they go here at Daytona for the ANZCAR 2024 season here on Performance E Streaming.
Yep, a great start. No one trying to do anything silly into turn 1. We see further back in the field a few guys starting to drop down and try and look for that bottom line. In recent weeks, the bottom line around here seems to be the best line, but we've got that new track dynamic, so look for guys trying to find the quickest lane, and we can see Ruben Phelps, and I just can't see who the other car was, drop down below that line and just let guys go and just settle in for the 80 lap race.
Yeah, quite a few people looking to drop towards the back of the pack, and it looks like the SRM crew are doing that at the moment. Quite a few of them just dropping back a little bit and getting themselves in a position to sort of keep themselves safe in the early stages of the race. Of course, it is a long old race, so you want to be in a good position for that, so you can really take advantage of it.
Yeah, just looking, someone there, Lachlan Urquio has dropped down below the line. He's probably going to drop back with Ruben and just sit there and play the waiting game. And out the front, at the moment, we've got DD. So good to see DD starting out on a good run tonight.
Yeah, nice to see Mr. Douglas up there. Always fun to see Dave having a good run, of course, in team with teammates with Riley Curtis. There we go. My brain has kicked into gear. You can tell that the rust is still informed. You take a couple of months off and you forget everything you're doing.
Now, I know this is not very nice, but there's a certain truck out there that I'm not very happy with, and it's a number 13.
Mr. Hamish Gallagher out in action tonight, and look, one of those drivers you know is going to be hard to beat. It's been a while since we've seen Hamish on track. He sort of took a bit of a break in previous seasons, so it's good to see him back out on track, and hopefully he's going to be back in strength with the Mitch Motorsport team.
Yeah, definitely. I just don't like his paint tonight. Still very raw with me, being a 49ers fan.
Well, I've got no idea what you mean.
Super Bowl, mate, last weekend.
Okay. It's a sport. We're talking about sport, you know. That's one of those things. I don't know sport. What are you talking about? I know motorsport. That is it. That's my only thing.
Look, one of the big new teams to form this year is Valve Sports. Jamie Nankervis there in the number 8, and I'm just trying to find his teammates through this big pack. A lot of these guys to Valve Sports are rookies, and they are definitely looking at getting into the oval side of things. Most of them are from a circuit background, but hey, we've all had to start somewhere, and welcome aboard to the oval world, guys.
Yeah, good to see some new faces and some new teams on track. Always nice to see them coming in, and look, it's what we need, of course. It's always nice to see some new talent and new faces on track. I was talking to Jamie, and he's got some very fast drivers in that team. Not quite used to the ovals as of yet. They're still learning on the oval side, but they are very, very quick. So, you know, just sort of telling me about one of the races he was having, and just saying the drivers, they were really, really quick, you know, up at the front, battling away, but then they had to make pit stops, and because they're not used to making the green flag stops, caught them out just a little bit off guard. And you know, it's those little things that take a little bit of time to get fully used to, but once you iron out all those little kinks, it's amazing how quick it comes.
Yeah, definitely. One of his teammates, 3 cars behind him up in that top line, that 66 car of Scott Lefborough. And please forgive me if I've pronounced that wrong, Scott. So, all new names and trying to learn. And as ever, Carl, we can see that VB truck out there of Brad Fenley. It's good to see him back out. He finished strong last year in Weekend Warriors and in ANZCAR. He actually got a top 10 in Weekend Warriors Championship last year, so he's be looking at moving on from that.
Yeah, Brad's been a stalwart competitor, and he's hoping for a good season this year, and starting it off with a good result at Daytona can be a fantastic thing, as we see Dave Douglas just chopping to the top line there, moving himself ahead of the car of Matt Patton, I believe it was, just jumping up to that high line. That's giving Kay Donnelly the run on the low line, so Kay Donnelly now sort of trying to get the lead of the race on the low line, with Josh Micklemore just behind him. So they are really getting some good racing at the moment.
Yeah, very well behaved at the moment. Early race. So it's good to see the guys just biding their time. A few guys are swapping from the high line down to the low line, and vice versa, back up to the high. Scott there just getting a little bit loose. It's 3 wide there, further back in the pack now.
Yeah, a bit of a moment for that 66, and just getting a little bit pinched as well. Just trying to get that car in a good position. 3 wide as they come across the tri-oval section, and just don't want to be in a 3 wide position this early on. It's sort of it's not a fun place to be in. It's one of those difficult spots, and it can be a little bit disconcerting. The other thing it does as well is it can just slow the line down a little bit too, because you've sort of broken up the draft pack a little bit.
He's been able to now get down into that low line. So Hamish is got a little bit of a gap to the truck in front of him now. So that high line, that second group now, will be trying very hard to catch up to that number 8 of truck of Jamie Nankervis on that high line.
Yeah, they're going to be chopping and changing, as is, well, as tradition on a super speedway. If you're new to oval racing and super speedways, there's a lot of bump drafting that goes on, and it's all about patience at this stage of the race, Mark.
It most definitely is. I'm just looking further back in the field. We've got those SRM boys linked up now. Ruben, Matty Ray and Noddy Tompkins. And I've got to put a big shout out to the person sitting at the back of the line there, gentleman racer Norman Clark. So he's in a new paint scheme this year. So we'll see how he ends up at the end of this one.
Always good to see Norman Clark out on track, the 09, sporting the very, very lime green colours of Mountain Dew out there tonight. So Norman Clark doing the Dew.
That high line now has just started to drop back. You probably find that these guys might try and have a new leader at the front of that line. I'm just trying to see who it is.
I think that is Matt Patton up on the high line. Just that bit further back, but they've really dropped back, haven't they? Look at the amount of time that they've lost. Aaron Dillon there just having a big... Hamish Gallagher, having a big snap down on to the inside there. A big moment there for Hamish. He saved that one really well.
Most definitely did. And we can see that a lot of guys starting to bail out of that top line for the bottom. But it's still a pretty strong line there. Probably need to see, as we jump back up the front, Carl, a lot of guys going off track and looking at dropping back. So be looking at fuel saving there.
Yeah, fuel saving is going to be a key feature in this race, and it's always an important thing. You don't get too much wear on the tyres, of course, on a super speedway, but I do find in these trucks they get a little bit nervous as the fuel starts to lean out a little bit, and it just gets a little bit nervous as you're going through those corners sometimes.
Definitely. Just seen Steve Hoppert there in the 131 truck jump up to the high line in his Toyota. He's not going to do himself any favour there, running out there by himself. He may be looking to drop back and bring that high line, that second group of cars on the high line, up to him.
Yeah, he's going to hope Matt Patton should close up pretty quickly to him here and start giving him a nice bit of bump drafting down the straight, which he does, connects to the bumper of the 131 of Mr. Stevie Hoppert there. He's having a solid race so far, up in the top 20s, up in 13th spot at the moment, 14th spot. So having a fairly good run out there as we go through. He's going to be happy to keep that car up there and out of trouble as well.
Yep, and another one that's decided to jump out of that bottom line is Scott Lethborough. He's jumped up, and the outside line has now caught him and passed him. So obviously he's one of the rookies to the ovals, probably not feeling quite just comfortable there running at the front. And we now go 3 wide.
Yeah, trying to see who that is just behind Scott there. Might be Nigel Patton or Mick Campbell. It's Michael Campbell there, just behind. Just got close to the rear quarter panel of Scott, and that would have been a very close shave Indeed. So, this is the trouble when you're sort of moving through the field. It gets very, very sketchy very, very quickly.
It definitely. It looks like Lockie must have gone through pit lane for some reason, because the guys are about to catch him.
Let's have a little bit of a look. See. Urquio there. I wonder if he mistimed it and lost the draft, because he's lost a lot of time early in this race, and just wonder if maybe he just missed the draft and didn't get back on it in time.
Yeah. Well, we've seen him drop down early on those first couple of laps down below that pole line. So, wonder what's happened. That's something that I'll investigate a little bit later on.
Yeah, we'll take a bit of a look-see at that, because, unfortunate thing to happen. I got no notifications for it, so the only thing I could think of is it could be that he's just missed the back of the pack, and he's just lost that draft.
Yeah, I'd say that's what's happened, because I've actually got nothing about him going through pit lane on the live timing stream either, Carl. So a little misfortune there, but in saying that too, if we do get a caution, he'll get that lap back, because he'll be the first one on the lucky dog.
That's it, and so far there's two drivers that are a lap down. Nicholas Walsh, he is out there circulating in a lonely position at the moment, so he's going to be struggling to sort of get into a good spot. And then of course Lachlan Urquio goes, big slide there for who was that? That silver car there of, let's see who that was, 16 is Todd Maxfield. Big slide going through the corner. Somehow he saved that. I do not know how, because that looked like it was going to be the mother of all wrecks there, Mark.
Yes, it could have been. Would have been a big one. And it's only a matter of time, as they say here at Daytona, it's not when, it's just, it's not, I'm lost.
It's not if, but when.
Yeah, that's the one I was looking for, Carl. Until we need to get the cobwebs out of our mics and our minds and get back into it.
That's it. Getting back into the swing of things, always fun to do, and it always takes a little bit of time to get yourself back used to all of the action. And all the effects, all the different looks of the trucks as well, so many names, always managing to catch us out.
Yeah, definitely. So this kicks off a big week for Daytona first. What have we got? Cars for the Crown Jewel race, and then Saturday night we're back live for the duels, and then Sunday afternoon the big one, the Daytona 500. That's going to be a big race, and all other leagues. Oh, we got someone around in the back.
Two teammates there of Henker and Sheridan, I think it was, just making contact on the bump, and they just bumped a little bit too hard. Great save by the two Cobalt Racing entries there, but that would have woken them up very, very quickly.
Yeah, it definitely would have. You get complacent around here. It's you kind of sort of just get into a rhythm, and you get bored in a way, because you've got to buy your ticket to that last 20 laps or 30 laps of the race to be in with a chance. And what we see is a lot of guys just have just a little bit of a a fade in concentration, and that can bring out a big caution, and it can see you destroy your race yourself.
Yeah, it's very easy to do. You almost get hypnotised as you're driving around, especially in if you're in a position like here up the front. We've got Kate Donnelly and Steve Hoppett now making the high line work for him. Steve Hoppett, he's finally managed to get that high line kicking into action, and he's getting himself up towards the front. But often when you're leading one of these races, you get sort of lulled into a false sense of security, and then you go back into the pack and you forget just how chaotic it can be.
Yeah, definitely. And these guys will be starting to hurt for fuel at the 40 truck and Steve Hoppett. They'll probably be the first ones looking to come down pit lane and take on a full tank of gas.
Yeah, being out leading this many laps is not going to help the fuel mileage on these big block V8s. They are not going to enjoy going out in front as the air slams against the front of this truck, and you have to use up all that fuel to keep up to speed, and it just really does not help the race for you. But sometimes being up front is the safest place to be, as they say. So it's not always a bad position to be in if there's a big wreck, but if it's green from start to finish, that can really catch you out.
Yeah, definitely can. Oh, just looking at the comments there. Our long-lost traveller, Brad Allison, has tuned in tonight. I know the last time I spoke to him, he was in South Australia somewhere. Hope the wind's died down for you, Brad, and you have some pleasant driving.
Always good to see Brad out and about, and always nice to see him popping up on a stream as well. And hopefully got the engine sounds just right now for everybody. Always the fun part of the start of the season is getting the balancing just right, and all the different camera angles as well, because these things are very loud when they need to be, and in certain camera views they can be a little bit too loud.
Definitely right there. And I had to lower my volume myself. So we're coming now up onto the 220 car of
Nicholas Walsh.
Now we're 3 wide here, so let's just hold our breath for a couple of minutes, because this is the time when there could be a nice little accident when someone just zigs instead of zags.
Can always be a bit chaotic getting past. Well, being a lapped car as well is never fun on a super speedway, because you can't really pull out the way to let the pack by in some places. On the back straight you've got that opportunity, but when you're in the corners you can't do anything, and when you're on the front section there's not much you can do, so it can be a little bit sketchy sometimes, and it can really be a hard thing to get right. So that pops Nicholas Walsh 2 laps down, unfortunately, but at least he will get back onto the lead lap here, back onto the pack I should say, and keep up some speed. Lachlan Urquio, the first car a lap down at the moment, he's sitting there up the front of the pack, so that should keep him relatively safe if there is a caution, and he should be able to get that lucky dog position, but he is going to be really relying on that to get himself into this race. If there's no caution, you've got to say he's going to have a bit of a rough night.
But saying that too, Carl, I mean to say all you got to do is be there, and it is a super speedway and anything can happen. We've seen many a race over the time through different leagues. The big races are the door does open up towards the end of the race. So Lockie just needs to be patient and sit there and keep it straight.
Yeah, keeping the car out of trouble can be such a huge advantage on a super speedway. Any damage to the car and the aero really can hamper you as the race goes on. Just looking up the front at the moment, and especially on that low line, Josh Micklemore, he's sitting in a bit of a Simboy sandwich, and we know how good Simboys are on super speedways. You've got Kay Donnelly, Gary Wellman and Chris Finlay all on that low line at the moment. They are sitting in an absolute prime spot should they get a breakaway, and should they be able to keep these three cars connected for the rest of this race.
Yeah, and as you say that, Gary Wellman just stuck his nose out and looked at going the high line, but decided better of it. So look for those boys maybe to head high and leave Josh there by himself.
Still a long way to go in this race with 27 laps into 80, so plenty to go here, so not worth really rolling the die just yet, you got to say, but you sort of start to want to plan for pit stops at this stage, because it won't be long until these guys need to start thinking about coming into pit lane, as we see Matt Patton there just dropping to the low line, and Steve Hoppett now trying to squeeze in to that position. It's not really enough room there below him with Jake Maloney and I think Jamie Curvis there. He's going to want to try and slot himself into that low line. Being that he's led so many laps at the front of that high line, he's going to be crying to get down low so he can at least get in a position to stop for fuel in the near future.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the tricky thing too. When you get stuck up on the high line and it's coming up to fuel stops, you tend to take a little bit more of a risk trying to get onto that bottom line.
Yeah, as it gets more and more desperate, that's when you see little accidents happening like that, as Matt Patton gets turned and there is a huge wreck behind, and the carnage is there as a huge amount of cars get caught up in that one. Lap 29, and the chaos has hit here at Daytona. As we were just saying, desperation starts to creep in as the drivers want to try to get to that low line, and well, it just happened. Let's jump back to a replay of that one and see if we can get that one work that one out. So with Steve Hoppett there just making a little bit of contact with it was Matt Patton, I think, just making that tiny bit of contact, and that caused quite a bit of chaos.
Yeah, it looks like he just tried to squeeze in there, and the gap just wasn't quite there. He caught the back of Patton's truck, and that seen Patton up track and into the outside wall, and the rest is history. Quite a few trucks involved in that. We can see Hoppett's truck left front really shot. I think will be his race over. I'm just trying to check out who else was involved in that. Jamie Nankervis looks like he's got a little bit of damage there. No,
Wayne Priest,
okay.
Joshua Carroll Walden, the two Cobalt entries as well, getting very, very close. Quite a few cars in that one getting big accident, and there was also a bit going on up the field as well. So a lot of cars caught up in that one, and really did catch a lot of the drivers out. Let's jump back to one more replay here and just see again just that carnage that was unfolding down the track. So a lot of cars damaged, a lot of cars taken in, and this is going to mean pit stops, of course. So we will jump back to the field in a couple of moments as they start running into the pit lane, but a lot of cars. Brad Fenley getting caught up in that hugely, Jason Martin somehow making it through, but everybody else getting very much caught up in that one.
Yeah, Nigel Patton's truck is looking okay. I'd say Mr. Hoppett's race is over. A little bit of damage there down the right of or a lot of damage actually on the 77 of Ben Vickers. He's missing the right front guard, so that's going to hurt him. Troy Davidson, a little bit of a scuff mark down the right side of the truck. Can't really see the nose of that truck at the moment, so I'll check back on that. JCW, a little bit of a scuff down the left, but
yeah, JCW's had a fairly big whack, I'd say, but he's managed to get back out there, and quite a few lucky survivors, I think, in that one.
Yeah, a lot of guys will be saying a few prayers right now and thanking God or whoever they believe in for getting through that, because that could have destroyed the rear half of the field.
So Ben Vickers, Brad Finley, Ben Henker, Michael Campbell, Scott LeBeau, Brendan Storer, Alexander Sheridan, Paul Jackson, Dwayne Priest, Steve Hoppett, all in the lane, still getting repairs done. So quite a few cars in there getting some heavy repairs done. There's some serious jobs needed, and I think that's going to see a fair few cars out of this race, unfortunately. Meanwhile, up the front of the field, the leaders remained unscathed. As we said, it's good to be up the front when a big incident like that happens, because at least it's going to leave you in a relatively safe position, and that's what it did for those guys up at the front.
It definitely. And got Josh Micklemore will start off out of P1 for the restart, and the sim boy of Gary Wellman alongside him. So we've seen Gary in other leagues have some great starts. So let's see how he goes here in the on the super speedway in the truck.
And still a couple of sim boys up there as well. Chris Finley right on that low line, and yeah, quite a few drivers in some good positions. So we will be getting back to racing in a few short moments after that chaos we saw, bringing out our first caution of the race. Hopefully the only one, but it is a super speedway, Mark, and as we know, super speedways are often a little bit more chaos prone than some of the other tracks.
Yeah, definitely. But what that's done too, Carl, is that it's now reset everyone. Everyone will be out there on fresh rubber, more than likely fresh rubber, being a caution, and full tanks of fuel. So we won't see another pit stop now until around lap 70. So even longer with these caution laps.
Yeah, that will really it's going to make things interesting to get it home. It should be just one more stop now, and well, we'll see who rolls the dice and see what people do from here, and see what they can actually get planned out for this race. As we're going to go back to green flag racing here on lap 32, and who is going to be getting this one, we'll find out very, very shortly as the green flag drops and a field roar away here at Daytona for this round one of the trucks here on Thursday night for the ANZCAR series.
Well, that was a little cheeky drop down by Gary in front of his teammate there, Jake Maloney. Sorry, not Jake Maloney.
Chris Finley.
Chris Finley.
I imagine that they had it a little bit planned out, that they were going to try and get themselves down there, as Jamie and Curtis giving a huge push to Jake Maloney up there on the high line, giving the 29 an extra 400 horsepower there, just pushing it along, trying to get him up the front to block the leaders a little bit, try and get themselves in a good position here and see what they can do for this, the rest of the race, as Kate Donnelly looks like he's had to come in, maybe serving a penalty unfortunately for him. So he's having to come into the pit lane to serve some form of penalty by the looks of it. That's not going to help the Sim boys out here tonight, losing one of those front runners' cars. Meanwhile, you can just see in the background there, one Hamish Gallagher coming up in the 13, and that is teammate to Josh Micklemore. So the Mitch Motorsport crew are getting themselves up into a position where they can try and work out with each other. Meanwhile, Jake Maloney's dropped down in front of Micklemore, got himself up into the lead of the pack. And just glance your way back a couple of cars, Mark, because look who's working his way up the field slowly but surely. It's the 21 of Jason Martin.
There, and also on that outside line, we got the Storm and Norman up into the top 10 now. So some good drivers now up into this lead pack. Just looking further back in the pack, those cars that are still carrying some damage have dropped right off this lead pack, and it's unfortunate for them.
Yeah, Ruben Phelps is sort of up there, trying to hang on to the back of Brent Hobbs. Lachlan Urquio, he's managed to get himself back on to the lead lap with that incident, but quite a few cars out there suffering some major damage, unfortunately, and that's going to break the field up a fair bit.
Yeah, definitely. The cars now that are lap down, as time just swaps over. Kay Donnelly a lap down, Brad Finley a lap down. Nicholas Walsh 2 laps down. Steve Hoppert is taking it behind the wall, and his night is done, and same with Matt Patton, unfortunately for those 2 drivers.
Big shame to lose drivers in the early stages of this race. Not even halfway through as of yet, so still a long way to go here tonight for this, the first round of the 2024 ANZCAR season. And a big thank you to everybody joining us. Always a pleasure to have you on board and with us for the rest of this season, and we hope you're going to enjoy the racing here on Performance E Streaming. Meanwhile, Jamie Nankervis has got himself up on the high line and working with Hamish Gallagher at the moment, trying to get himself forwards, and you can just see Todd Maxfield there, another Sim boy, working his way up towards the front too. So the Sim boys are many. They're almost legion, for they are many. They everywhere you look you see a Sim boy generally, but they are working their way towards the front of this pack again, and they're going to get themselves in a good position. Joshua Carroll-Walden doing a good recovery. We saw him getting caught up in that incident, but not too much damage on that Natari car by the looks of things. The 35 is working his way up towards the front of the pack as well.
Yeah, and also there, Carl is the number 10, DD. He hasn't really dropped down that far through the race, but he's back up towards the front, and he'll be definitely looking at pushing some of these guys to and trying to get back to the front of the race.
Yeah, if one person you want to have behind you at a super speedway is this man, Dave Douglas, well known for his ability to push a car. He is a very, very accomplished pack racer and super speedway racer as well, and has helped many people to victory as well as taking many victories himself. So keep an eye out for the number 10 in the latter stages of this race. He could be the kingmaker for one of tonight's drivers.
Yeah, we just see all the football screen there. Brad Finley back into the pits, so he's definitely not having a great night. And where boys are about to come up on Noddy Tompkins, one of the SRM boys. Not a good night for Noddy. He does the right thing. He moves up onto the high line and allows the field to go past him.
Could be an opportunity here for him to jump in to the back of the pack and help out some of the SRM crew. He's only 1 lap down, so again, if he gets a lucky caution, he can easily get back into this race. He's going to slot himself in just behind the 0-2-3 by the looks of things, just sort of trying to get themselves in a good position. That's Troy Davidson up there. Riley Curtis down there in 16th position. He's keeping himself relatively out of trouble at the moment, just keeping himself towards the back of the pack with Nigel Patton as well as Brent Hobbs, and that's the sort of main lead pack. Alexander Sheridan there as well, and you can see the SRM crew there, Ruben Phelps, Matty Ray and Lachlan Urquio all linked up at the back of this pack. That's the final group of cars in this 22 strong field of front pack runners. A bit further back, Paul Jackson trying to recover a little bit here. He has got Matt Patton, I believe, with him up there. They're trying to link themselves up and get themselves into a position, but the rest of the field is very broken up at the moment, unfortunately, and that is making things a little bit difficult for them to really catch up. So we'll be expecting to see them dropping down a lap in the near future.
At the front, we've had a lead change. We've got Jamie Nankervis now dropped down to that bottom line and leading that bottom line. Hamish Gallagher leading the top line now.
And you can see Hamish getting a big push there from Todd Maxfield, trying to get that high line up to a position, and will we see Hamish drop down to the low line or stick himself up there? He's got Josh Micklemore as well just below him, so teammates could start playing into each other's hands here as this one goes on, but they've got to get it all working right. Of course, it's very tricky to slot a car in to those gaps at the best of times. When you're driving at almost 200 miles per hour, it makes it very much more difficult.
Yeah, look, what Jamie needs to pray for is that either Norman Clark or JCW can link up with him, because they'll work together, and they're surrounded by Sim Boys and Mitch Motorsport cars.
Yeah, it's going to be it's always an important thing to have some allies with you on the super speedway, and we'll see who can get this one working out perfectly as this race goes on. See Aaron Dillon working his way up the field as well. He's just sitting behind Dave Douglas and he's trying to link it up with Chris Finley, so we could easily see some more Sim Boys get themselves towards the front of this pack.
Maybe we should jump on board with Jamie, Carl, and let the spectators ride on board for a lap, and let them hear what he's hearing through his helmet.
Absolutely, we will jump on board with Jamie Nan Curvis right now and get a bit of an idea of this track.
Hey, jump back on.
Okay, and we are back as the leaders are coming up to some lap traffic here, and it's going to be all chaos as Brad Fenley is moved himself up nicely to keep himself out of the way, and you can see there's a whole heap of cars just ahead as well. That's going to be a big group of cars there just getting themselves out of the way, and if they can hook themselves onto the back of this pack, they can be in a good position for the rest of this race. So they've just got to get there as Ben Henke getting very close there to the drivers, and just getting a little bit of a wobble on that car. Is not looking too healthy at the moment. The 213 Cobalt Racing entry did take a massive whack as well. You can see the damage, and it wouldn't surprise me if he's got a little bit of steering damage because of the impact on that left front.
That's broken that up top line up just ever so fraction. We got 2x2 now, and the Cobalt car there in the top high line needs to get a good push by the 40 support car.
Yeah, but he's just getting settled back in. Sorry,
look, I was going to say, next 10 laps, look at those SRM boys to start making their move. We can see Ruben Phelps slowly closing in on the car in front, truck in front of him, and Mr. Hopper has made it back out onto the track. So So that's a good news for him. He'll get some more points under his belt, maybe.
Look, perseverance is an important part of of super speedway racing, because you never know, there could be a massive accident in this race, and you could find yourself right up towards the front of the pack. Maybe a couple of laps down, but you could gain yourself a whole heap of positions. Meanwhile, Jason Martin is starting to work his way up towards the front. Jason Martin on a big run at the moment after starting way down the order. He's up 21 positions at the moment. So one of the bigger movers out there, Jake Maloney as well, 23 spots gained in this race. They've worked their way to the front perfectly.
Yeah, definitely. I just we've got a lead change up front, but Todd Maxwell very close to having the same issue as Steve Hobbit did, just coming down just ever so slight earlier than he should have. But this is now given that top line of JCW and co a good run. Be looking at the 31 truck to try and jump up in behind Hamish Gallagher there.
Yeah, if the three Mitch Motorsport boys can get themselves in a line, that will be very, very good news for them. But there's just not any room up on that high line at the moment for Micklemore. He's in a bit of a sandwich at the moment. He's sort of in an unenviable spot. Jump on board with him for a brief moment to give you a bit of an idea of what it's like in the middle of the pack. We saw with Jamie Nankervis a few laps earlier just what it's like being up the front of the pack. When you're a few cars back, it's a much scarier prospect, as you've got barely any room to go, and you really can't see anything going on around you, Mark.
Definitely not. You can see there, he's right up on, well, he's probably trying to get a little bit closer to that tail of the car in front, and it's a very limited view. And we can see here, back up the front, we can see back up front now that the 31 car truck has moved down to that low line, and it's now left Hamish Gallagher up there battling the high line. So it's definitely some teamwork starting to come in as we now click over 51 laps completed.
We are heading towards the close of tonight's race, and drivers will be doing maths in their head now as well. This is going to be a crucial one to get right, is when do you come in for your final stop here tonight, because they're all going to need to come down the lane to get some fuel. We know they can do about 30 laps, but do you come in nice and early and fill up the tank with a few friends and get out in a nice draft pack, or do you wait until the last very minute just in case there is a caution that could come into play and save your race?
So the earliest that they can come, well, if they run the full tank of fuel, people will be looking at coming down on lap 67. That's the earliest that I would say someone will come down. That gives you 35 laps on this tank. So it'd be interesting. There'd be lots of talking going on team channels and different things, and teammates asking how much fuel you've got, and really starting to try and work it, as we see Hamish Gallagher drop down on that low line now.
Links himself up with Josh Micklemore. He gives him a big bump up the bumper there. A nice big receipt there for his teammate, just letting him know that they're all ready to race, and they are really going for it. But they've linked themselves up. Jason Martin, meanwhile, up at the front of the pack, leading the race for tonight, getting some bonus points in the bag as well for this race.
So what we've got to start looking at is, firstly, who's going to bite first and come down pit lane. Then once we get that next pit stop over, it's going to be who's going to link up with who, and a lot of teammates are going to probably come down together and try and work that last stage together.
Of course, if you're in this big draft pack at the front, you can't afford to come in too early, because you're going to lose a lot of time. If these guys all stick together, you're going to need a good little pack of cars to come in with you to really make it work. So there's a lot of risk and reward here, but I'd say probably a team to try something different is going to be SRM. I can just imagine them trying something a little bit different, maybe coming in a lap or two earlier than the rest of the pack, linking themselves up nice together and getting themselves running in a good little pack with each other. You've got Ruben Phelps, Maddie Ray and Lachlan Urquio all linked up at the moment with each other. And then unfortunately Noddy Tompkins dropped back a little bit. He's fallen back into this secondary pack at the moment. He's leading it, but it's a fair bit off the pace of the rest of the cars out there.
And unfortunately for Noddy, he is a lap down too, so that's not a good thing. I would say they will probably try and get Noddy in with them, but just depending on how far back he is, Carl.
Yeah, he's dropped back a lot of quite a big distance from the rest of them. I think it's about 21 seconds the gap to Noddy at the moment to his teammate, so he's a bit too far away to really try anything at the moment, so that makes it tricky. If all four of those cars could come in together, it would make it just a little bit better out on track for the pack racing.
Aaron Dillon there trying to side draft. He's there by himself. And Jamie's not going to give him any room to try and squeeze down in, so he may be better off looking at coming in behind Jamie.
Yeah, side drafting can be tricky because it can really slow the cars down, especially that car you're side drafting. It can break the pack a little bit, and that can really affect just speed, and you don't want to drop off too far. If you drop to that sort of drop to about 0.7, 0.8 of a second, you can kind of make it back, but further than that you can really be in trouble.
Looks like he's going to spout it in there in front of Gallagher, so he's again stays out there all by himself. But that second line up high, led by Norman Clark, is slowly catching him.
So yeah, from a nice long distance shot, the massive track that is Daytona. You forget just how big this place is sometimes, especially when you're racing here, because you're lapping at an immense amount of speed. It does not take long to eat up the distance of this track, and you sort of forget just what a big complex this place is, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. Gary Wellman just getting a little bit loose there and getting a wobble on down below the pole line.
The cars are starting to look nervous again, Mark. We saw this before that last caution, and the fuel's starting to burn down a little bit now. They're starting to get a little bit lighter, and did mention this at the start of the broadcast. These trucks, they get a little bit sketchy, a little bit twitchy when they're low on fuel. They really start to get a little bit of a handful, and sometimes when you're in the pack getting buffeted around by all of that air being thrown at you, it can really make it tricky to keep the truck in the right position, and this is where we could easily see another incident.
Yeah, and definitely good to see another one. The guys swapping lanes there at the front, trying to jump up and slow that top lane down. Although now Norman Clark has got a run on that top high line, so.
And Norman Clark up there with Brendan Storer, new to the league this season, the 97, another one of the Cobalt Racing entries, and we've seen Cobalt Racing having some good results last year in their first season, as Jason Martin jumps out of the lead, and he is going to slot himself back with his teammates, I would say. He's jumped up into the middle, and he is going to be trying to get himself back in the pack now, towards Hamish Gallagher and Josh Micklemore, and give himself a little bit more fuel as they're three wide as they cross the start-finish line. As Storer just giving the wall a slightest glance there, As you can see, Jason Martin sticking in the middle. He might not be dropping back. Maybe JCW Joshua Garrett-Walden had a massive run on him there and caught him off guard as Norman Clark runs up on the high line, 3 wide for the lead of the race here at Daytona in the trucks. It's Norman Clark getting a great push there from Storer and looking to get himself up into the front. There's always contact between Storer and Martin. Storer's gone round and everybody else is holding on. Joshua Micklemore's been caught and the caution flag is out.
Oh my lord.
Ruben Phelps being caught up in that one as well. And Josh Micklemore as well having a big moment. Let's see if we can catch all of this one again as we see Storer getting caught up there and going around. And then Josh Micklemore too. Quite a few cars just getting caught out with that one in just not great positions. And that has brought the caution flag out once more.
Well, that's certainly changed things because they can go in fuel, take tyres. Now, some guys will take the working side of tyres, meaning just the right side, and then some will maybe just take the lefts. So it's going to be interesting. These guys at the front that are now in the best position will be looking and thinking and talking to our other teammates. What are we doing? What fuel we're taking? What are we taking tyres?
What is the plan from here? Well, it's going to be interesting to see because tyres not that big effect usually in these cars, but fresher tyres usually give you a little bit of an advantage as we see the field peeling into pit lane here. And it's going to be Norman Clark leading them in.
So I'm just watching Norman here. He's gone up on the jacks on the right side. So right side tyres for Norman. He's taken fuel and rights only. And a lot of guys have just taken fuel.
See here the race for pit exit, and it's going to be close, and it looks like it might have been JCW there getting out just in front. No, it was Shane Bowen that had the best pit stop there, in and out into the lead. So it looks like our pit stop time's just not showing at the moment, so I do apologise for that one. But they are all coming back out into this race, and well, this has been an opportunity for some of those guys to get a lap back. A few people staying out just so they can get the wave around to get themselves back on the lead lap. And well, we're going to get back to racing here very soon. There's a bit of a check up there, just catching Aaron Dillon out. He had to take some evasive action there in the background.
Yeah, the hardest thing here is getting iRacing to sort the field out. Can take a little bit of time, and so a few guys get caught out there, and that's maybe a bit of a check up for Dylan, as you said. But these front guys at the moment, Hoppett and Co, will be definitely get a wave around. Noddy Tompkins will get back onto the lead lap, so that's good for him.
Yeah, he's going to need another caution though to get himself the fuel he needs to get to the end of the race. That's going to be the tricky little bit for him. Steve Hoppett popping in, he's coming in for fuel, so he's decided against it. Brad Fenley, he's 4 laps down at the moment, so he's going to try and get at least one of those laps back and get himself in a good position. We've still got Nicholas Walsh out there. He's currently 2 laps down. Cade Donnelly a lap down. Ben Henkar as well as Michael Campbell and Ben Vickers all a lap down at the moment. But it's going to be this man, Shane Bowen, that's going to be leading them away for this sprint to the finish mark.
Yeah, I'm just looking on screen at the moment. Josh Micklemore, I believe it is. and Ruben Phelps has been able to get in, get some repairs done, and get back out in front of the pace car.
That is going to be crucial. Not too much damage to Micklemore's car. You can see there Phelps has lost the front left of the car, so that's going to be painful for him. That's going to make it a little bit painful for the rest of his race. He's just going to be happy to finish on the lead lap, I'm sure.
Yeah, Noddy Tompkins has come into pit lane, so he'll get fuel only, I'd say. But he has to be careful and make sure he gets back out before that pace car comes around.
Always a tricky balancing act as they are coming through right now. And going to be getting back to green flag racing here on lap 63 of 80. And well, we are due for hopefully another nice long green flag period here with some great racing. We hope you've been enjoying it so far. Big thank you to everybody for joining us here for this, the start of the 2024 ANZCAR season here with the trucks on Thursday night here on Performance E-Streaming. As the pace car pulls into the pit lane, we have got a massive group of cars getting ready to get very angry here at the restart here at Daytona. Shane Bone's going to lead them away, JCW on the high line, and away they go once more.
Start by Bowen there, nice jump. We can see on the outside JCW and
Jason Martin behind him.
Yes. So, and we've still got the Sim Boys up there. So we've seen in the past, Carl, this is where that top line starts to come into around that lap 70. So those guys that have been up there, they may have an advantage as we see one truck pull off into the pit lane. But it definitely looks like tonight the low line's the fastest way around here.
Yeah, the low line's been favoured so far tonight by the leaders for sure. They have been really keeping themselves active on that low line all race long, so good to see. Good to see everybody having a good... As JCW drops down to the low line in front of Bowen there and gets himself into the lead of this race and into the lead of the low line.
So you've got to ask, has everyone put in enough fuel? Some of these guys decided to short fuel. It's going to be all answered very shortly in 14 laps.
Yeah, it is an absolute sprint to the end, and this is where, well, tempers can get a little bit frayed, and hotter heads can sometimes prevail as well in these final laps to the end of the race. It's been a long race, and everybody wants to get out with the victory. As a big drop down there from Maxfield and Martin, both dropping to the low line, getting themselves up in front. That's left Jamie Nankervis up on the high line without any support in front of them, but he has got Aaron Dillon behind him. Matty Ray up there as well for SRM. We said watch out for SRM in the tail of this race, and they are working their way up to the front now and seeing what they can pull out the bag.
Yeah, Matty Ray's coming off a great season with the Warriors, so he's again is a two-peat truck champion over there, so he'd definitely be looking at bringing some of that knowledge back to here to ANZCAR. And we've seen him last year have some good results in the trucks too with ANZCAR.
Yeah, absolutely. This season is going to be fun to watch because it just gives some drivers that have got slightly different skill sets the opportunity to really advance through the 2024 season. Of course, we've got the trucks coming up in the first half, then it's the Xfinity car, and then we're rounding it out with the Cup action. But it really gives the drivers a chance to flex their muscles and show what they've got in different categories as well, because although oval racing, it all looks very similar, and all the cars look very similar. They all handle very differently and perform very differently as well on speedways and all oval tracks. So you might be really good in a truck, but might not be as quick in the cup car, or vice versa. Although you'd always get those people that are good in everything.
Yeah, definitely. We've also got to mention Monday nights too, Carl, with ANZCAR. Some different racing there. We're started to race the wheel and SKs this season. So Monday night was the first race for there, and some good close racing.
Absolutely, some really fun stuff out in the wheel and modifieds at Bristol on Monday night. And Josh Mickelmore is going to be, well, hoping he can repeat his luck. He's not had the easiest time so far with that incident. It looks like the car's not taking too much damage as they're getting squeezed up. Hamish Gallagher really caught up in the middle between Aaron Dillon at the moment. They are getting very close to each other right there. You can just see they are rubbing sides with each other. Absolutely not even a cigarette paper between them. They make contact. They keep the cars in the right direction. Rubbing is racing. When you're travelling at over almost 200 miles per hour, that can get very scary very quickly.
Jump up, as I said. Look for Norman to jump up and pick up with Jamie. But we've also seen now two other cars jump up onto that high line. That's left Martin and his cohort below in all sorts of trouble. The high line will get a run here.
Gary Wellman just having a little bit of a wobble. 10 laps to go. Todd Maxfield right behind Jason Martin at the moment. Joshua Carroll Walden up on the high line looking to get the job done for Natari. He has got the Cobalt Racing entry of Shane Bowen up there as well. Shane Bowen having a great race, as well as Brendan Storer. He's managed to recover as well in the 97 after that contact and that momentary incident earlier on. He's still up there, so good news for Cobalt Racing. They've got two cars up at the front of the pack at the moment, and there are quite a few people that are going to be working their allegiances with each other right now too. So a lot to come here in these next 10 laps here at Daytona.
Definitely, and this is now where the gloves are off. I wouldn't even be surprised if we see another caution and head into overtime for the first race of the season. And we can see guys in the background there swapping lanes, looking for the quicker lane. That high line will be running quicker than the low line at the moment. It's a bigger line. Look at these two guys behind Martin and JCW to give him a little love tap and push him, try and get that line going a bit quicker.
Yeah, they've got to start thinking about working together right here, as we've got 9 laps to go, and still quite a few cars with a chance in this race. There's still not much of a gap between the top 21 cars here, so still anybody's race really. But you've got to say, up at the front is probably the place to be at the moment. It's usually the safer of the spots. It's not always the safest spot, but they are going to be trying to get that one working. As Nigel Patton just having a little bit of a moment there, just getting a little bit loose coming into the corner. Do not want that here as you're trying to get linked up with each other, but not hurt him too much. You can see a little bit further back right now, Lachlan Urquio and Maddie Ray linking up with each other. Dave Douglas now, he's starting to make his moves. He's been a bit quiet in the latter half of this race, but he's working his way up to the front now to see what mischief he can get up to. But it's Joshua Carroll Walden and Shane Bowen at the moment leading the front two lines. Shane Bowen on the high line. Joshua Carroll Walden on the low line with Jason Martin behind him. Jamie Nankervis behind Bowen. Who is going to have this one? We will find out very, very soon.
Hamish Gallagher trying to make a third line. He's got inside of Norman Clark, so a third line has formed. So this is typical Daytona. Oh, they touch on that high line. Oh, reckon.
There is contact, big contact, and this is going to be a huge wreck. A lot of cars involved in that one as the caution flag flies, and we see carnage spreading across the racetrack here at Daytona. A lot of injured cars in that one, and that is going to be a big accident here. Let us see if we can grab that replay, and we'll see if we can find out exactly what happened there. 3 wide, and just caught a little bit off guard was Shane Bowen, I think it was, and got caught up in that one, and then absolute carnage was happening, and it has really not gone well. Let's see if we can catch that from the digger camera here. So that's going to see most of the action. You can see just cars spreading across the field, and a lot of cars involved in that one. That is going to write off a lot of vehicles from this race.
Definitely, and we always knew that it could happen. So just have to wait and see who's got damage now.
See who survived that one and who didn't. That's going to be one of the harder things in this race, and I think we'll probably see a fair few people just coming in for a quick repair and back out again, seeing what they can do. Meanwhile, the leaders will be sticking it out there, of course, but that took out a whole heap of cars in this race. Everybody was hanging back a little bit, preparing themselves for that final run to the flag. Really got caught up in that one.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of cars in pit lane right now, Carl. A great deal. Dave Douglas' car, his truck is second hand. He's got no front end on it.
We can see here from pit lane just the amount of cars, and if we jump to this camera here, we can just see a lot of cars in pit lane at the moment. Almost, well, over half the field having to come in for repairs. That is a big one. And well, what do we say at Daytona, Mark? You're always waiting for that big one to come. Well, it has come, and it has claimed half of the field of tonight's race.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be interesting to see who can get back out. Like as I said, Dave Douglas has got no front end on his truck. All these cars are still in pit lane, taking a lot of repair. Pit crews will be out there with a 100-mile-hour tape, and without that stuff, I don't think there'd be a lot of race cars still get around the racetrack.
100-mile-per-hour tape is it's a vital part of any race car. It has saved many persons' races, and I've seen from experience working in the industry, many a car come back with about 90% of it being covered by 100-mile-per-hour tape. It almost is more 100-mile-per-hour tape than it is car. You can see that Dave Douglas, he really got caught in that one. A lot of damage to that car. His night is pretty much over. You've got to say a lot of front end damage to that. He is probably the biggest victim in that incident in the number 10.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it in pit lane. It's really not healthy.
No, if they can fix that, they'll need more than 100-mile-per-hour tape for that one. They'll just need to go out into the parking lot, see if they can find a what's Dave running tonight? An F-150. See if they can find an F-150 parked up and then quickly paint it up to look like his car.
Still don't think that that'll save you, mate. So in the lead of the race right now, we've got JCW. Second place, Jason Martin. Todd Maxwell in third. Brendan Storer in fourth. Nigel Patton being the quiet achiever tonight. He's sitting in fifth. Jake Maloney in sixth. Riley Curtis in seventh. Chris Finley in eighth. And that's the top 8 at the moment, because the rest of the field is still catching up.
So far we've had 3 cautions tonight, with 14 lead changes and 10 individual leaders. So quite a few chops and changes out there tonight. And well, got 5 laps to go, Mark. Are you going to put money on it going green to the end?
Daytona? No.
Oh, trap. Thought I could have got myself a couple of extra dollars there, but we'll try that again later in the season. It's still going to be a tough race for those guys out there. Lachlan Urquio's done a great job of recovering. He was a lap down early on after missing out on the rest of the pack, but he's up in 9th at the moment, so he is in with a shout of getting up there in this race. Watch out for Nigel Patton as well up there. Jake Maloney still having a good race as well as Jason Martin. Those two starting right down the field. But pace car is coming in and we are about to go green for this run to the flag here at Daytona. Just 4 laps to go. Who is going to take victory here tonight? Stay tuned and we will find out very, very shortly, ladies and gentlemen.
Nice even start by both JCW and Martin.
Getting very close to each other there, Maxfield and Martin. Martin trying to get up on to a third line here. They are starting to race hard and, well, this is the time where you need to do it. This is racing for the win at Daytona, and if you've got a shout of it, you need to take it because you do not get too many opportunities to take the W here at this historic super speedway. Nigel Patton up behind Joshua Carroll Walden at the moment. Todd Maxfield up on the high line as well. Look at that, Brendan Storer coming up quickly too. Down the inside goes Jake Maloney, moving his way up behind Jason Martin here. Beautiful, beautiful slide through there as Storer just gets caught out and has to run up high to take a little bit of avoiding action as they are coming through thick and fast. The low line's got a bit of an advantage at the moment as JCW jumps up to Jason Martin. Jason Martin jumps down into the middle. He's looking to get in front of Carroll Walden, which he's going to do. Carroll Walden mistimed that one. He's going to get shuffled right back to the pack. He's got no help whatsoever. Can he get himself in line? Doesn't look like it. Martin up the front. We are getting towards the closing stages here and they are really going for it.
Keep an eye on that truck, truck number 42. It's probably the cleanest truck out there.
Todd Maxfield getting a little tap from Jake Maloney there. Great job from Maxfield to hold that car in a straight line. We've got Chris Finley up there. He can start working with his teammate as Maloney jumps up high to block that run from the Sim Boys. There's contact between Martin. Martin gets nudged off the track. Can he get up there? That's broken the low line up. Jake Maloney has got into a great position here as well as Lachlan Urquio. JCW's trying to get back there. He's battling with Nigel Patton, but the front three are working their way up to the front and they're building up a bit of a gap. Martin's still got a chance here. He can still get the draft, get a good run on these front three cars. But it is Maloney, Finley, Urquio leading the race at the moment as the white flag comes out. Next flag will be the finish with the green flag. Urquio moves out the way. He's going to lose some spots. He needs to get that high line working. Martin trying to get up there quickly too. It's Maloney in the lead with Finley. Martin jumps up high. He's going to try and take advantage of that high line. Can he work with Urquio to get up to the front? He's got to get it working fast as they're coming towards the flag. Maloney in the lead with Finley down low. Martin on the high line with Urquio behind him. Patton third in line. Maxfield sitting behind his teammate. That could be a great opportunity for the Sim Boys with Chris Finley and Todd Maxfield. Who is going to take victory here tonight? We are going to find out very shortly. Martin gets a great run. So does Urquio as they cross the line. It's Jason Martin taking the win here at Daytona. Lachlan Urquio comes home in second with Jake Maloney in third place for an absolute fantastic finish here at Daytona for round one of the trucks.
Wow, what a race finish. Look at that.
It's the most I've spoken all year. But it is the 21 of Jason Martin, up 24 positions in this race, taking victory here tonight. As the timing screens are just updating, it looks like Urquio might have got disqualified, unfortunately. And that is going to put Jake Maloney up into P2. Big movers and shakers of the race. Martin and Maloney, 24 and 26 positions retrospectively. Chris Finley will come home third, but it is this man, Jason Martin, who takes victory here tonight in the 21. It's been a while since we've seen Jason on a Thursday night, but he is back and back in style, taking the win for Mitch Motorsport.
Yeah, never count out those Mitch boys if they're in the race. It's a great team and plenty of race wins under their belts.
Absolutely, it's been a good start to the week for them, as Josh Mickelmore taking the victory in the modifieds on Monday night. Jason Martin taking victory at Daytona in the trucks. They have started off strong and in style and shown us just how much Mitch Motorsport can be a tricky team to beat.
Anyone want to buy a used set of tyres?
Let us quickly see if we will let Jason blow the motor there. Good one, Jace, as we'll go back and get a bit of a replay of that chaotic finish as they come to the line. And Jason Martin, he dropped back a little bit. It was looking a little bit just a little bit tricky for him, and then he got a massive run. Unfortunately for Urquio, he must have just made a little bit too much contact and got himself 4x, and unfortunately him out of the race. Look at that, 5 wide as they cross the line, and a huge moment there, but a great win there for Jason Martin. Really unfortunate for Urquio. He had a fantastic race and a really good comeback. Shame to see him get the penalty there, but I'm sure he'll come back bigger and stronger next time out. Let us start running through the order, the finishing order for tonight's race. Taking victory here tonight was Jason Martin, the 21 back in style, with Jake Maloney coming home second. Chris Finley comes home in third for the Sim Boys, with Todd Maxfield just behind him. Nigel Patton having a great race tonight, up in 5th spot, with Riley Curtis in 6th position. Ruben Phelps recovering well with the damage to the front of his truck in 7th. Joshua Carroll-Walden 8th. Brent Hobbs in 9th. And Brendan Storer coming home 10th on debut. Paul Jackson comes home strong 11th, with Josh Mickelmore in 12th. 13th for Cade Donnelly. Jamie Dan Curvis in 14th, with Norman Clark in 15th. Matty Ray 16th. 17th for Shane Bowen. Lachlan Urquio comes home 18th, with Gary Wellman 19th, and Troy Davidson in 20th. Alexander Sheridan 21st, with Ben Henker in 22nd. 23rd for Ben Vickers. Michael Campbell 24th. Hamish Gallagher 25th, with Nicholas Walsh 26th. 27th for Dave Douglas. Brad Fenley in 28th. 29th for Aaron Dillon, and Noddy Tompkins comes home in 30th. Steve Hopper in 31st, with Scott Lefborough in 32nd. Dwayne Priest in 33rd, and 34th place for Matt Patton, out early doors unfortunately.
For some of those guys, just not the luck that they would have been hoping for. But nevertheless, there's on to Atlanta next week, so back-to-back super speedways almost.
Absolutely, one of my favourite tracks now, Atlanta, so looking forward to seeing that one. I'd much rather be driving it than commentating it, I must say, but I still look forward to seeing that race heading off to the Atlanta, well, as you say, super speedway. So, 3 cautions in the race, with 9 caution laps in total. 17 lead changes with 10 separate leaders. Troy Davidson taking the fastest lap, pretty much on the last lap tonight. Jason Martin starting 25th, coming home first. A fantastic victory for him tonight, and he is going to be absolutely delighted by that. Led 18 laps tonight, and most crucially, the final lap itself.
It doesn't matter where you are where you lead them, so long as that last lap is where you lead the most.
Absolutely, it's always a crucial lap to lead. So, as we quickly get things sorted out here, we will start by getting some of our podium finishers. Mark, I might get you to sort that out if you could.
Yep. Chris Finley, there we go. Hey Chris, Mark up in the booth, mate. Congratulations on third place tonight.
Thanks very much, Mark. It's nice to get the season back off to a nice start.
Yeah, a bit of a hairy night through the race for you there at points.
Yeah, I was feeling fairly comfortable down the bottom though, so it was kind of worked in my favour that when the crashes happened, they went up the top of the track and managed to sneak my way through.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, mate, we've got a feast at Daytona this week. Looking forward to the Cup cars this week.
Yeah, I'll see whether I can qualify tomorrow night and see whether I can actually make the race this weekend. I'm meant to be going to the beach with the family, so that might be a tough sell.
Mate, tyre wear and everything still the same. No big effect on the truck tonight.
I didn't notice anything. Didn't put any tyres on around this track. Maybe I should have. Might have got a few tenths through there and got the win.
Yeah, definitely. Well, mate, again, before we let you go, some shout-outs to sponsors and teammates or anything?
Yeah, shout out to the Sim boys. Yeah, I know they've been racing pretty hard all summer. This is my first race in 2.5 months. But shout out to Hot Toddy's Heating Installs, United Electrical Solutions. Those guys are still on board again this year and looking forward to a cracker.
Well, mate, it's a great way to start the season in third, and we'll see what you can do in the Cup cars this weekend.
Yeah, that's it. We'll talk to you guys a bit later on.
All right, mate. Thanks for giving you time tonight.
Can't wait for next week.
All right, so one happy driver there, Jake Maloney. We'll pull him up into the booth. Hey, g'day, Jake. Welcome to the booth, mate. What we hope will be many for you. Congratulations on second place tonight.
Cheers, guys. Yeah, no, it was good to be back. Been a little while since I've run an ANZCAR race, and yeah, made it to the end and was in the fight at the end, and yeah, had a good battle with Jason and everyone.
Just talk us through that last wreck right on the line, mate. It looked a little bit hairy.
Yeah, it was. I probably made the wrong move at the end. I probably got to the lead too early and didn't make the right blocks. But yeah, that's sort of how it ends up, right at the line. Everyone converging in on one spot.
Yeah, definitely. A few hairy, scary moments through the race. But were able to avoid a lot of them.
Yeah, there were a few, especially when we were going 3 wide. It was hard to resist the temptation to make it 3 wide a few of the times, and a few times I had to do it to get where we needed. But yeah, no, avoided it all and had good fun.
Yeah, definitely. Well, congratulations again, mate, on second place. Shout out to sponsors and supporters.
Just thanks to the guys for running the series and you guys for doing the broadcast.
No worries, mate. Compliments like that, you can come back here anytime.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for your time tonight. Just drop him back down, and we'll bring up the race winner. Where is he? There he is. Mr. Jason Martin from Mitch Motorsports. Welcome to the booth and opening race win.
Cheers, mate. Good to be back racing on a Thursday night again.
It's been a little while, hasn't it? We'll have to talk to Mr. Foster about making these seasons shorter, eh? Sorry, seasons longer. Mate, some great racing there tonight. Some hairy moments, and you were able to stay out of that last one across the line.
Yeah, I've got no idea what happened there. I haven't seen a replay yet, but I just kept my foot in it, foot flat the whole time, and tried to go as high as I could to avoid what was going to happen there, and I got through it and then got a nice push at the end.
Yeah, we've seen you link up with JCW there towards the end, and he kind of sort of dropped back a little bit, and then 3 wide, or well, it was actually 5 wide across the line. So some scary moment.
Yeah, that's Daytona. There's always a lot of near misses and scary moments, but I guess that's why lots of people love it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, mate, again, a great way to open up the ANZCAR season with a race win. Your teammate had a win on Monday night in the Wheelans, so the Mitch Motorsports off to a great start.
Yeah, got a new sponsor, Leppy Motorsports Concepts, and yeah, great start for the new team and new sponsors. So yeah, couldn't ask for a better start than that, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Well, mate, I was just going to say, shout out to sponsors and everything. So if you've left anyone out, just go ahead and thank them again.
Just thanks ANZCAR for putting on another series again, and as usual, they do a great job, and the drivers in here are always good, nice, hard racing. So yeah, looking forward to the new season. Going to be interesting.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Well, again, congratulations on the race win tonight, and good luck for the rest of the season.
I think I used up all my luck tonight, so I'll have to rely on a bit of skill, but I don't have as much of that anymore either.
No, there's quite a few of our young fellas coming through now, and yeah, we can see some very quick drivers out there.
Yep.
All right, mate. Well, thanks for your time tonight, and again, congratulations on the race win.
Cheers, mate. Great to get a win at Daytona. I don't get many with them.
All right, mate. Thanks for your time. Well, there you have it, Carl. Two wins from 2 starts for the Mitch boys so far this season. Can they make it a three-peat at Daytona 500 on Sunday?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. We know that they've got a little bit of an aversion to the next gen Cup car, so be interesting to see if we see them on track. I know they've got a paint job ready for it. I've seen Jason Martin's and Josh Micklemore's, so could well see them back out on track. And who is going to put money up against Mitch Motorsport for taking the trifecta for this week's racing? Could very easily come their way. Of course, it is the big one. It's Daytona, the start of the Crown Jewel events, up next here on Performance E-Streaming, and of course for ANZCAR itself. So we are looking forward to seeing you for that one. Of course, it's coming up this weekend with qualifying and the duels coming up on Saturday, of course. So Saturday, make sure to join us for the duels. And then it is the race itself on the 18th of February. And I knew I was forgetting to do one thing tonight, and that was to get those downloaded. So I apologise about that. Always going to be one thing that we fail on at the start of the year. So I'm happy that was it. There was not much that we failed on tonight, Mark.
No, good start to the season. So yeah, interesting, and we'll definitely be looking at towards Saturday firstly with the duels, and 2 long days for us.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of action for us. We are looking forward to that one. Of course, it's going to be an exciting race it's going to be an exciting race, as it always is for Daytona. It's always one of those big things, and look, the Crown Jewel is always a special occasion. There we go, we've got that up on screen now. I didn't forget it at all and wasn't furiously fixing things up as I was talking. So we're looking forward to that one, of course. As we said, if you missed out the season at launch, it's going to be a slightly different season this year, as we're not running the full Cup season. We're running the trucks, the Xfinity and the Cup cars, but we are running these special Crown Jewel events, and the first one at Daytona in the Cup car should be an absolute experience, so we look forward to seeing you there for that, of course. So not long to wait until the next broadcast, Mark. It's been many months since we last did a race, but now you're going to get 3 in the same week.
Yeah, that's going to be a good. Looking forward to the rest of the season. With it being changed up a little bit, so well done to the ANZCAR admin to put a bit of spice into the season.
Absolutely. It should be an exciting year for everybody. Look, a big thank you to everybody for driving tonight and joining us tonight for the race. We hope you've enjoyed this one. We look forward to seeing you again on the weekend for the Jules on Saturday night, and of course the Daytona 500 on Sunday. From myself, Carl Wilkinson, with you, and of course Mr. Mark Johansson, and all of us here at Performance Eastream, we wish you a good night and see you again very, very soon.